Well, looky here. We are coming to you live from the March meet, and legendary Rich Guasco of the legendary Pure Hell Fuel Altered is with us. And so I'm counting on you guys that are seeing us to give us a thumbs up that you hear us okay, because I want to make sure we're capturing this. So let's see what happens, Poppy.
Let's see. Yeah, I'll say something. Rich, say hi to Cindy over there. I'll make sure we're getting our PA working
Hi,
here.
Cindy. Glad to see your smile.
Oh, it's always a good weekend when I see you and Jill. How
What
about it, Denton? Can you hear us?
Anybody there?
I'm waiting for a thumbs up from someone.
Well, it's...
We're freezing our butts off here at the March meet, but the sun is out. It looks like the rain is done. Can someone give me a thumbs up? How about a thumbs up, people?
We need to know we're going out here before we'll... Some of this stuff will be one time only, probably.
All right, well, we'll start talking here, Poppy, and I'm waiting for a comment. I see people are logging on. We've already got 20 people watching. So.
All right. Well, anyway, here we are. You know, we've been doing this, our little Nitro Revival hook nose thing for some time, and we took a break after the, last deal. And but, we get all these comments of who you guys should talk to, and one of the ones we heard from is you guys need to talk to Guasco. You need to go talk to Guasco. And I said, what the hell's he ever done? I mean, Guasco, nobody, I said, but then I thought about it, and I said, he's done everything. I mean, Rich Guasco is the epitome of a drag racer as far as I'm concerned, and one of the nicest guys that ever came in, we crossed paths with. So it's just an honor. And Rich lives in Northern California, and we're in Southern California, but just the chance to sit down here with Rich, we go back a long way. Rich, man, thank you for coming over.
Oh,
it's just
thank
that,
you, Steve.
this is,
Yeah.
There's a connection between us. It's always been there, and it's one of the most valuable assets in my life is to have Rich Guasco as a friend. So, God,
made
Rich.
me cry.
Oh, he means that. I mean, you get mentioned a lot, Rich, and he always has just great things to say about you.
To know, I mean, you've done it all too. I mean, you were just born to be a hot rodder.
Yeah.
I mean, and between, we're going to talk about a lot of things here, but I mean, you must have started doing this when you were just a kid.
Well,
I mean,
I built my street roaster when I was in the 8th grade. Excuse me, and I was my high school car. And then when I got out of high school, of course, I raced it, and then I put it in shows. And in 1961, it was picked as America's most beautiful roadster.
I mean, can you imagine that? An 8th grade kid. 8th grade. I mean, we're talking a kid, 13 years old around, 12, 13 years old, builds a car. I mean, it becomes America's most beautiful roadster. I mean, unbelievable. I mean, that's enough right there to establish, But your parents had a wrecking yard, right?
Yes,
so,
yes.
I mean, cars were a big part of your life, right?
My folks are from Italy, so we actually lived in the middle of the wrecking yard. Our house was in the middle of the yard, surrounded by cars, and we'd be eating dinner. Somebody would knock on the door and want a part. My dad would get up and go pull apart.
So
that's where I grew up. That type of a deal.
I mean, well, just cars and parts, and
we got up at sunset. At sunrise. That's when he went to work. As soon as it got light, and he quit when it got dark.
Hard-working people.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, there was only 2,000 people in the town of Pleasant at the time, so we didn't sell a lot of used parts. So you had to do what you had to do to make a living till the population,
I imagine that property, everything has come back to benefit you later in life, though, right?
Well, I don't think I have enough money to clean it. It's been a wrecking yard since 1931.
Is the wrecking yard still there?
Yeah, still there. Still going strong.
Really?
We don't run it. We rent it out now to a guy that really is doing a good job. But our deal was we just poured the oil on the ground to kill the weeds,
You go to jail for that now.
Yep.
Hey, I'm going to do one quick thing to double check on the audio. You guys keep talking. I'll be right back.
Okay. But when you got involved in drag racing, obviously pretty early on too,
Yes.
and there were a lot of tracks around at that time. Was Fremont open at that time?
No, Kingdom was the only drag strip out there.
Kingdom.
So yes, and then I think Fremont opened like 58 or not 59 maybe, I think it was.
Right.
So, but Kingdom had been there since 50.
So the first time you went to the drags was at Kingdom.
Yeah.
And that's you obviously probably put a car together later on to run out there.
Yeah, my street roadster.
Your street roadster.
Some guy, I had never been to the drags before, but I belonged to a club, and one of the guys in the club cousin ran a dragster. So we all went up to Kingdom to see it. God, I couldn't leave the grandstand. I mean, I was watching E-Stock automatics, you know. And so I just brought my roadster down there, and the rules were kind of loose. So the upholstery of my roadster stuck up above the back of the body. So I just told them I had a roll bar in there. So I never did have a roll bar in the car.
So is that the same car that became America's most?
Yes, yes.
So that car actually, it actually raced then, that car.
Oh, yeah.
And you still have the car, right?
Yes, we still have it. And in '59, I got drafted in '59, but just before that, they had the '59 Bakersfield race, and then everybody came to Kingdom. So I won a street roadster at that race, and then I went into service. That's where I met Larry Huff, who became my partner for 40.
Really? So you and Huff go back to the military?
Yeah.
So
then I went to Germany, and Huff went to Washington. But when he got discharged, he came and he lived with me and worked at the wrecking yard for a while.
Well, we could talk about Huff all day long too, and
right.
you know. But yeah, you crossed paths with some pretty memorable characters in your time, you know.
Yeah.
But so to get involved with a serious race car, was that the dragster that you built?
Yes, I had. When was that? I don't know, but it was pretty early, and it was just an arc. Well, I had no idea what I was doing, so I went and got the two longest pieces of tubing I could find. I think they were 20-foot lengths, and I just had them bent in a U shape, and that was top and bottom frame rail, and however long it came out, that was the wheelbase. I think it was 101 inches or something.
A pretty short little car.
Yeah.
And a Chevy engine.
Yeah, and I ran top gas, and then I went to Denver to match race Kens and Leslie. They had that Ford dragster that their son drove.
Right.
So when we were up there, I put alcohol in it, and I think I put 10% in it or something. Geez, I couldn't believe the difference it made. So when I came back to California, I started running alcohol in my dragster, and then I sold it to this guy in Denver, whose house we stayed at, and then I built the car I got hurt in.
Yeah, what year was that, the car?
January 13th of '63.
Is when you got hurt in that car?
Yeah.
That was a horrible accident. I mean, you went through hell on that whole deal.
I got
you know?
out of the hospital New Year's Day of '65, so 2 years.
Yeah, no, that was tough. I mean, just to endure that, just to survive it, had to be brutal.
They would do I don't know what you call them, but they would do operations, and then I would go to an old folks home for a month or so I'd have nursing care.
Yeah.
And at that time, NHR insurance was $3,000.
That probably didn't cover the first week of what you had.
So my folks had a hawk, everything.
Wow.
And so I got out, and then I started driving the Quality Auto Parts store, car altered.
So you did drive after the accident then, son,
yeah,
huh?
well, until I set a record at Fremont. It was a little blurb in the Pleasanton Times, the local paper. My mother never looked at a sports page, and she happened to look at a sports page that day, and it had in the paper there I'd set this record. So that was the end of my driving days.
I can imagine your mom was
that
God, probably
you talk about two pissed off Italians, man.
Well, at some point in there, you decided to build pure hell. Then I imagine.
Well, I wanted to build a roadster when I got out of the service, but at the time you had to use a tin body, an iron body, because there were no glass bodies, and I couldn't find one, so that's why I built a dragster. That's the only reason I built a dragster, because being so associated with roadsters, I wanted to build a roadster.
Right.
So,
well, the fuel altered thing, everything was evolutionary.
Right.
Things were coming into. But I mean, was there another fuel altered out there that kind of you had your sights on?
No, I just wanted. We actually, Denny Forsberg, they had that blown Chevy altered, and we were best of friends back then.
There's a lot of good racers from the Bay Area then.
Yeah, Johnny Middleton, who just passed away.
Yeah, we're at that stage of life too. We're going through it too. But when you built Pure Hell, I mean, first time out, it had a blown Chevy in it, right? Did you ever try to drive that car?
Yeah, I ran 173 in it. Till my another folks deal,
You tested your parents, didn't you? I mean,
so Dale at the time was running a top fuel car.
Dale Emery, we're talking about, right?
With Oldsmobile in it that wouldn't get out of its own way. So I asked him if he'd drive the car, and that's how he had a machine shop, and he built me copper. I never even knew what a copper head gasket was. He said, I can build you some copper head gaskets. And so I used to go over there during the week. He lived in Richmond, which was like 30 miles away. But during the week, maybe one night a week, I would go over there and use all of his machines, or he would do it for me. So that we became good friends. And then,
I mean, you guys, that was more than just a friendship too, from what I can see. You guys were, I mean,
brothers.
Guasco and Emery, that's one of those names that just, I mean.
We actually moved from Richmond and moved out there with me.
Was that right?
And then we went to Texas, and we were in Texas for 3 or 4 months. It was time to come home, and he says, "I'm not going home. I'm staying here."
You're staying there.
He says, "I've never had fun like this in my life."
Well, Emery went on to establish himself, obviously, with Beetle and that whole operation, the Blue Max thing. And of course, you guys never lost contact.
Right.
I mean, you were involved with the whole episode.
He actually flew me into a lot of the national events. I didn't travel with the car or nothing, but I would go to Gainesville or those type of races.
That was later on. But going back to the Pure Hell, I mean, Dale drove the car to the Chevy. Then later you went to the Chrysler, but I don't think there was anybody else who could drive that car the way he could.
Well, Seuss tried to drive it. He couldn't drive it.
Yeah.
But, he would drive it with the front end. That the car would be straight up in the air. He never lifted.
Yeah.
One time we was at Fremont, and he shut it off early, maybe 1,000 foot. And I got down, I said, why'd you do that? He said, I lost oil pressure. I said, Dale, that's bullshit. There's no way. That little tiny gauge.
Right.
And we pulled the pan, and the oil pump broke in half. It was laying in the bottom of the pan. It didn't hurt a bearing or anything.
He was unbelievable. I mean, he had arms like legs. I mean, the guy was a specimen, but easy going. I think I never saw an ugly side of him, but
he didn't want to mess with them.
No, I'm sure of that. I mean. But just seeing him drive that car, it just looked like he was part of it,
Yes. And every car he drove.
Yeah. Well, he went on and he was in a wheel stander. He drove for a while. I don't think he liked that. But
I'm the guy who wrecked him when he was driving for Jags.
Was that right?
Well, he was in the car ready to make a run, and we noticed one of the lines going to the, not a port line, it was a hat line, was broke off at the fitting. And so I took a rag and some tape, and I wrapped it around it so nobody could see it. And Jags come up and said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Oh, nothing. They're just kind of cleaning things up." And so Dale was supposed to shut it off early, but he forgot to shut it off early.
He forgot to shut it off early, right?
And then it blew the body off, hit the guardrail. And then, so I jump in the dually, and Jags jumps in the dually, and we're smoking. We're in Ontario, and that the guardrails opened up. So I don't know how fast I was going, but the guy opened the guardrail, went like that, and I tore the rear fender off. off of the truck. Oh God, it wasn't my best day, I'll tell you.
But the Pure Hell car, I mean, the one you guys raced, you finally parked it for quite a while then, right? But you guys hit the tour. I mean, well, I was running Irwindale back in the
Right.
60s, and that's when we really first crossed paths. And,
Right.
you know, we had some really good fuel altered
Yes,
shows, you know,
yeah.
with you guys and Mousy and
Yeah.
Willie and Leon. And,
Yeah.
all them guys there,
Yeah.
Leroy Chatterd, and there was a bunch of good guys in that
It's
fuel altered.
and they're almost all gone now, too.
Well, it's sad we're at that
Yeah.
stage, but then,
And I just heard yesterday that Tim Beebe's in hospice.
yeah, Tim, you know, it's a tough deal to see
Yeah.
this happen, and he's got some Alzheimer's issues,
Yeah.
you know, but the Beebe family, I mean, those
Yeah.
guys, and I think you probably raced with Dave, didn't
yeah,
you?
in fact, Dave, I think we won Columbus
Columbus, yeah.
in '71, I think.
It was Larry's car, Huff's car, wasn't it? The Soapy
Well,
Sales
it
car?
was actually the Pure Hell car. We had two bodies.
Oh, okay.
And when we went to national events, Larry paid the whole deal, and we would put the Soapy Sales on, and when it had the Pure Hell body on it, we split the cost.
Huh.
So that's how
Was
that
that a
deal worked.
purple car? That
Yes,
was a purple bunny car,
which
right?
I'm restoring right now.
Oh, are you?
I just
Oh,
bought
man.
it back from that Brian Hall, the tramp guy.
Okay.
He found it at a swap meet and bought it and called me up, so I bought it from him.
Well, you got some serious stuff stashed at your house. I see
Yeah.
that trailer out there.
Yeah.
I don't know what. You're fortunate. You got a daughter that looks like. I mean, I got one too. I think
Yeah.
she takes pretty good care of me, doesn't
Yeah.
she?
In fact, when they put that cage in my back here a year or so ago, I was supposed to have a nurse 24 hours a day for like 3 or 4 weeks. And so she moved in
Yeah.
with me and took care of me, and I gained 20 pounds. She cooked me these huge meals every day, and stupid me ate them. So,
Well, I know you read up, but when we started talking about Nitro Revival, the first thing Guasco tells me, well, you got a 50 Ford with a flathead. He's got a 51, and he challenges me to a race. I mean,
He wanted to race you.
yeah, hell, I put header pipes coming out the side of the car and everything, but he was afraid he'd break the transmission.
Jill was dead serious. She's
Well,
texting me like, it's on, girlfriend.
Yeah.
He's not going to lose, and I'm not going to break any parts, so I
Yeah.
chickened out, you know. If Art Christmas were alive, maybe I'd do it.
I
But,
even put a 3/8 by 3/8 flat because I knew Art Christman built his motor. I thought I just have to go bigger, so I built a 3/8 by 3/8 flathead. And then he.
I think that gives you an idea of the mentality of this guy. He's just going to kick somebody's ass regardless, you know.
Yeah.
But back to the fuel alder days, you know, the Irwindale days were good.
Yes.
And you guys hit the road then for a little bit of a tour. And
Yeah.
I was at Corpus Christi
Yes.
in '69, and you guys came there, and that was
Yeah.
kind of an episode too, with
Yeah.
you and Mousy and Willie and Leon
Leon,
and
yeah.
RT Reed.
Yeah,
And
we had a great time. That was wonderful because I had never. That was kind of like the first time I'd ever actually gone on tour that far away from home.
Yeah.
You know, you'd make one shot to Arizona or something, but never stay away for that long. And then on the
Is
way,
that someone's phone going off? I'm hearing this.
I'm
really
hearing
weird-
this buzzing noise. I think it's outside. But
is your-
well, we'll keep on going here.
so anyway, we had a match race at Irwindale. So I flew home to prep our spare motor, and Dale drove the truck home, and he had a blowout and rolled the truck and trailer in
Oh, really?
Silver Springs, New Mexico.
Oh, boy.
So this guy drove by and saw the Pure Hell car. He says, I don't know you, but I seen the car in magazines, and I knew you were from Pleasanton.
Huh.
So he called me, and then I called the highway patrol, and they said, yeah, it's at this such and such tow yard.
Yeah.
So
I'm not sure. We're getting a funny noise here that I can't tell what's going
Is
on.
your phone going off, Richard?
oh, I wonder if it's my hearing aid. I took my hearing aid out.
I think that's what it is.
That may be it. That's what
There
it
you
is.
go.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
Did it stop?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
I love you old guys. I swear to God.
Oh, I got them in too. That's just.
He's got his hearing aids turned up so loud I can hear his phone conversations from his head. He's
Okay.
sitting next to him.
Well, I lost one yesterday. I don't know. It
Really?
fell out. I hope it's. Yeah, I have no idea where it's at.
Oh,
You know how much they cost.
well,
Dude.
when we were wearing the mask, I
Yeah.
had to be really careful because you pulled the damn mask off and it grabbed the hearing aid, and I
Yeah.
come close to losing a couple of them, but we didn't. Anyway, well, we're back to that. I don't know if that was going out over the broadcast
I
or not.
think we're okay. I think
Anyway,
everyone's just excited to be listening to Rich talk.
But it was fun. I mean, we were younger then, having a good time,
Yeah.
and you guys were out on the road. And what year did you marry Dodie? I mean, that
65.
65. Huh?
Yeah.
You were lucky there. You had a
Yeah.
good woman, huh?
Oh my
I mean,
gosh, I
yeah.
loved her.
We've been through
Yeah, she's
similar
about
thing, but
22
I understand.
years
Yeah.
she's been gone.
Is it? From what I understand, and we made you the Grand Marshal of the Hot Rod Reunion.
Yes.
And she was aware she had cancer.
Yeah.
But
She found out
That week.
Thursday before the race, and she didn't tell me till Monday
Yep.
because she didn't want to ruin my weekend being the Grand Marshal
that
here.
says a lot about her
Yeah.
character.
To this
Well, I'll
day,
tell
I
ya.
tell that story because we had we were doing the portraits that year, you
Yeah.
know, and I tell people that was one of the most unselfish things I've ever
Yeah.
heard of in my life. And I found your daughters had sent me a thank you letter
Yeah.
that following week and filled me in on all that, and it just literally brought me to my knees.
Yeah.
I loved Dodie so much.
Yep.
Well, we were good friends with Doug's Header people, and so Dodie spent a lot of time over there, and so they came over. They thought something was wrong with me because she kept crying. She would be talking and then just start crying,
Yeah.
and I said, no, it's not, but I had no idea because she never said a word that they gave her 10 months, and she passed away in 10 months.
Wow. That's a hell of a thing to go through.
Yeah.
And I went through it later with my wife,
Yeah.
but I guess we were blessed to have them when
Right.
we did, you
Yeah.
know, and but let's go back, after the fuel altered. What when you decided to go race with the Huff, and what was the next step after the fuel altered when you finally parked it? Was it when Emery moved to Texas, basically?
Well, no, because you're right, because Seuss drove it a couple of times after that. But then I started working for other people, and I worked on a couple of Top Fuel cars, and I worked on a couple of funny cars, and then Dale got involved, and I had to have a funny car. That was my next deal, was the funny car deal. So
And who drove that for you?
Dave Beebe.
Dave Beebe did.
And a guy named Elwin Carlson. We called him Honker. He drove it at first, and then we went to the Winter Nationals, and who was it that we were racing? Anyway, they asked me. They came and said, "Would you mind if you told your driver to not leave right away and let us get out of him because we don't want to run alongside of him." Because he wasn't he never lived, was another one of them never lifted guys. And so I thought, well, I can't have that, so I had to let him go, and then we got Dave Beebe. Because Dave Beebe and Tim Beebe were like and Leon, they were the first guys I ever met when I went to Long Beach that first time. Because they had alters, and they had read about the times we were running at Fremont, and nobody could believe that we could be that far ahead of them. So they came over and we talked and showed them the car and everything. So we got to be good friends. So that's why I asked Dave Beebe to.
Well, Dave was good. I mean, he was aggressive too.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a hardcore racer.
Yes,
him and T. It's hard to believe him and Tim were brothers. They were so different. But but the Beebe family. I mean, they.
People have. Back then, we didn't know nothing. We didn't know nothing about nitro or any of that stuff, really. And I mean, Tim Beebe to run as good as he did with Mulligan, I mean, that's really impressive in them days.
Yeah, well, there were a few guys. Tim was one of them. Skinner and Job, the surfer guys.
Yeah.
I mean,
there were a lot of them, but it wasn't as easy. I mean, we had no idea what we were doing half the time, you know.
You're doing most of your own work too,
Yeah,
you know, and
yeah.
it wasn't just go hire
Yeah.
the best of everything, you know. But that's what made that era so
Yeah.
special, is the guys were doing it
Yeah.
themselves, you know.
And then my best friend at the time was, besides Dale, was this guy Tony Del Rio, which he was a professional wrestler. So he used to call me pure hell because I got in a lot of bar fights.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
with him, I would mouth off to somebody and then Tony would finish it. So he used to call me pure hell.
Is that right?
So when Pete built the car after the first time or a couple times we raced it, he said, "You ought to call the car pure hell." So I told Tony, "Let's put a little pure hell on the grill shell."
Uh-huh.
And he says, "Hell no, we're going to put it on the cow."
Yeah.
And so that's how it became. And so then I thought, you know, nobody ever talks about the owner of the cars. All they talk about is the driver.
Right.
So if the name of the car is Rich Guasco's Pure
Pure Hell.
Hell, every time we go up there, they have to say Rich Guasco's Pure Hell.
That's good marketing.
Yeah, so that's why it's Rich Guasco's Pure Hell.
Well, Tony Del Rio was a piece of work too.
Oh God, he was 300 pounds, 6'5". We went to the Cow Palace. He wanted to be a wrestler, but at the time, you had to belong to a promoter.
Uh-huh.
So we went to the Cow Palace, and we sat like in the middle of the auditorium, and we started a big fight between us. And all the security came to put cuffs on us. Tony ran and jumped into the ring and knocked out both wrestlers. And that's how he got his first match.
Well, at that opening meet up at Sears Point, you know,
Yeah.
down there where Dale's kid kicked over the beer cans.
And he threw them guys over
The
the fence.
I mean, I tell people that story. I was standing there and watched this thing happen, and he just ruined those guys.
Oh, yeah,
I
he
mean,
was-
pitched
yeah.
one guy over a 6-foot chain link
Yeah.
fence. I mean, and Bob Kreitz. I mean, all these guys are legendary guys, and Kreitz is my God. I just believe what I just saw here. You know, but
Yeah.
but Tony. And he liked it too. I
Yeah.
think
Oh, God.
big,
Yeah.
strong guy, and died way too young, you know. But
well-
guy did cross paths with some interesting
Yeah,
guys, you know.
yeah, well-
Porky the Pirate, and
Yeah. Oh, God, Porky the Pirate.
but let's go back to the Emery and that affiliation with the funny car deals and the Blue Max. You went with them quite a bit, didn't
Well,
you?
just the national events.
Just the
is all.
national events,
Yeah.
just to give them a hand, extra
Yeah,
crew
well,
guy.
at the time it was only Dale and Fred.
Uh huh.
And Dee did. Well, then they got some. Jolly came in later. He was, we called him Jelly, and then Dee came.
Yeah.
So then when Dee came, I that kind of phased me out of the deal. I still went with them, and I still did a little bit of the car, but now they had 3 guys. So Fred was underneath, and Dale was on one side, and either me or Dee was on the other side.
Huh.
At the time, they were the only car that would take all 8 pistons out after every run,
Huh.
and so that's why you had to have.
Well, it was changing. I mean,
Yeah.
you could see where it was headed. What guys got in on that level of things.
Yeah.
Was there a period of time where you kind of dropped out of the sport? Did you always have something
You know,
out there in the
always had
truck?
something to do with it.
Always something to
I
do with it.
worked on Paisano's car. I
And-
worked on somebody's car.
Yeah. And then the whole nostalgia thing kind of started coming around. And
What happened was I was touring with Jesus, my head, the quarterback.
Pastorini, Dan
Yeah, I was touring
Pastorini.
with Pastorini.
Yeah.
And when that happened, one of the guys that worked for me and another owner of another wrecking yard found my old car, and it was actually cut in half. They
Oh.
were going to lengthen it, but they never went through with it. So they bought it for $100, just a bare chassis cut in half, and the body was cut in half because they were going to lengthen the body too.
Oh,
And so that's how I got the car back.
you got the car back. Is that the car now that's down at the Lions Museum?
Yes,
That's
yes.
the car. That's good.
That's the original car.
That's
we
the-
started with 92 inches long. The motor as high as they would allow us to put it. You know, for
I mean, I don't know, Dale.
92
You couldn't see the front end.
Oh,
I mean,
no.
all you could see.
well, he
is,
said that was the weirdest part about driving the car because he was always used to driving dragsters, and all of a sudden he's in this 92-inch car and he couldn't see past the motor.
right.
So he said that was the weirdest part about driving the car for him. What a great guy. And what a
Dale
great
Emery was
driver.
just I mean, like I say,
Yeah.
I mean, he was a specimen. I don't know,
Yeah.
he looked like he was a hod courier or something,
Well,
you know. But
when he was 17, he went to work. He lied about his age and went to work on them things that pump holes in the ground, whatever you call them.
right.
And so by the time he was 20, he was a foreman for the company.
Okay, you
And-
could tell he worked. I
Yeah.
mean, he just had the name, just
Yeah.
a, mellow man. I mean,
Well,
I think back on the characters that we've crossed paths
Yeah.
with. I don't know if they make people like that
Yeah,
anymore. You
I'm
know.
telling you. Well, we'd be driving down the road and he'd reach over and pinch my leg.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he was so strong.
Oh.
And he didn't pull no punches. He would, when he pinched you, he pinched you. So,
Yeah, that's well then, God, I don't even know where to, we can go so many directions in this, but you went through the whole funny car thing, and now this nostalgia thing has kept you pretty busy,
Yeah.
and you got Brian Hope driving for you now, and you've had some other
Yeah.
guys driving the car.
Well,
but-
when the Pastorini Dale thing ended, and then I had the car sitting there, even though it was cut in half, and I got a hold of Pete Ogden, who built the car originally, and he put it back together and made the roll bar legal. Because if you see pictures of Dale driving the car, he was never under the roll bar.
No, he was hanging out
Yeah.
there loose.
And so we made the roll bar legal and things like that. And
Well, tell us about the episode at Fremont when the thing went in the ditch.
well,
there.
we put a P&S steering in it, and it had a 2-piece steering shaft, and you put a little pin in it down at the bottom to attach it to the steering box. I forgot to put the pin in it, and he left the starting line, and the steering wheel came back with him. So he was in there, he was trying to put the steering wheel back in,
And the car's moving at
and
that
the car
time.
it was probably going 100 miles an hour.
Right.
And so he couldn't get the car stopped, and it made a right turn and went in a ditch and went underwater.
Yeah, that
So-
whole right-hand side, there was no guardrail there.
Yeah.
It was a big puddle pond of water there.
Yeah,
How
drainage.
deep? How
It was
deep
a
was that
drainage.
water? You think?
Pardon?
How deep was the water?
Well, it
Probably.
was probably halfway up the car because he
Okay.
was completely submerged.
Okay.
So when we got him out of the car, the ambulance driver was trying to take his helmet and face mask off. He didn't unbuckle it.
Uh-huh.
So Tony walked up and knocked him out.
The ambulance attendant.
and then took the helmet off. So then the ambulance guy came to the hospital later looking for him. Or you want to know who in the hell did that? And we told him it's best you just forget about it.
you don't want to pursue this.
God, he hit that guy. It was unreal.
I mean, Del Rio,
Yeah.
when I managed Fremont for a short amount of time, I learned right away, one of the first guys to get to know is Del Rio,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
he can make your life either miserable
But
or
he was a bodyguard for a lot of famous people, too.
Yeah, Reggie Jackson, was he?
Reggie Jackson,
Yeah.
and then the guy that jumped over the cars, whatever, I can't think
Evil
of his.
Knievel?
Evil
Knievel.
Knievel. Evil Knievel's bodyguard for a while.
And,
And so,
But the Del Rios, is Wayne still going? Is he?
yeah, he's still going, but he can't walk now
Yeah.
or anything. He just sits in a chair actually he sits on a scooter like I have, and that's how he gets around.
Did their Roadster win the America's Most Beautiful too?
No, it won the best competition car. Remember, they used to split it. It would be America's Most Beautiful Roadster and then World's Best Competition Car,
Okay.
or something like that.
All part of the same
Same
show.
deal,
Yeah.
same trophy, same everything, except he won it for the competition side.
Oh, okay. Well, the Del Rio family. I mean, that whole the Bay Area was incredible at
Yeah.
that time. I mean, between the Champion Speed Shop and
And
Gatelli
Gatelli
and
and
Masters
Cash
and
Auto.
Richter and I mean,
Richters and
you
Masters.
could have a hell of a race
Yeah.
just at Fremont or
Right.
Cotati or Half Moon Bay.
And Richters and Masters held all the mile-an-hour records forever.
Oh, those guys, they would rent the racetrack just to go run their car. I mean,
Yeah.
they didn't care about the crowd or
Right.
the money. They just
Yeah.
wanted to run and go fast,
Yeah.
And Bob Haynes, and they were older than us too.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah, way older.
yeah, they were like in their 40s and 50s when our
were
crowd were in our
20s,
20s,
yes,
and fascinating guys. But
Yeah.
are you having fun these days?
Oh, I love this. I mean, everybody thinks I'm a hero, and I tell them I'm
You
just
are.
old.
No, but God, I mean, You amaze me because I mean, those injuries. They're still haunting you today. I mean, you're still paying the price for a lot of that stuff, and you've had surgeries.
Yeah, I just had that cage put from my neck to my tailbone.
Yeah.
My spine was collapsing from my hips being pulverized and everything, I guess. I don't know what happened to my spine, but I've had, like I told you, I've had 3 right hips, 2 left hips, two or three right knees, and one left knee. So I've had all my joints. Well, that rear end spun right in the lights.
Yeah.
And when you're trapped into that cage, there ain't no place to go.
I can't even imagine. I understand that, you know, John Cranenberg had a similar accident, but it's true, I guess you were able to get some of the doctors that worked on you.
Yes, exactly. Same doctor.
Same doctor. By the time they got Cranenberg to the hospital, that you had already hit.
Well, Jack Chrisman was first, and then I was second in Cranenberg, and then finally somebody said, maybe we should have pinion supports.
Well, there's some painful lessons learned, you know, and we've seen that in so many aspects of the car. But I mean, God, you endured it, you survived it, and you're a tough son of a bitch. I'm telling you what, I just
want to do it. You know, I just have such a passion for racing and drag racing, for cars.
Yeah.
It's been my whole life, actually.
Well, when that group went to Australia a couple of years ago, I mean, you're talking about a 12-hour flight, and that's got to be tough on you. And I said, he's going to go. I know he's going to go.
16-hour flight.
Was it 16 hours?
16 hours.
Yeah.
We got all the way to Australia, made one run, it rained, and we came home.
But you'd do it again, probably.
Yeah, well, I can't wait till we go again.
Yeah.
We've been to Goodwood Festival of Speed twice in England.
Yeah.
And then I guess the people at Santa Pod saw us at Goodwood, and then they took us to Santa Pod, I don't know, like 2 years ago, I guess.
Yeah. That's been good. And, you know, Ron Hope, he's really helped a lot to keep this whole thing going. I think a lot of people don't realize probably
he's the backbone behind it.
He is. I mean, and it's coming out, a lot of it out of his personal pocket to keep these cars out there, to make the fuel altered thing. There's just something special about the fuel altered category that I don't even know how to describe it, but the guys are, I mean, and so many of them are gone. You know, we just lost Mike Boyd, which was just devastating to we should have said something at the start of this. This is all very impromptu, but
and Mousie's gone.
Mousy and Willie and Leon, and I mean, you just go down to Leon, Chatterton. But we were lucky that we did what we did. And I say we because I'm on the edge of this thing. I never drove one of these, but I loved that category and did all I could to make sure they, whether national events or whatever, because it's just a special breed of guys.
And another reason why you keep going, if you're successful, you keep going. So I mean, if I was one of the guys that never qualified or something, I'm sure I wouldn't still be doing it. But because of the way the car ran when Dale was driving it and everything, I got to work on other people's cars too. To keep going. So like the last car was Pastorini. I was with him for 3 years, the whole time he ran. And then when that ended, I had the car, so.
Yeah, Tony Ledford was just by our house last week.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, and, he went raced with Pastorini all that time too. But
we still keep in touch.
Oh, Tony's a great guy. He built our house for us up in Lake Arrowhead, so we stayed in good touch with him. But are you having fun with this car here, and Brian?
Oh yeah.
Brian doing a good job for you.
The whole people are so nice. Very religious. Just nice people, boy.
Yep.
And that's what I wanted. What I told Brian. Because Brian wasn't a driver, but they were such a nice family that I got tired of. I don't want to say names, but Richard drove you into the wall, with his antics, and so I wanted a family guy, so that's why I asked Brian.
Well, they're a great family, and Ron, like I say, he's got a huge business. And took a big hit with all this thing that's going on, but he'll hang in there, and he's been supportive of everything we've done. And so the Rat Trap, it's that's good there. So What else you got planned this year? You going to go run the car a few
As
times?
much as I can.
Yeah, much as you can, huh?
Yeah, if we, like we were, for 2 or 3 years, we were on a IHR or AHRA deal where they paid us to go to every one of their races.
Right.
So we had 4 cars, and we just traveled around with AHRA. And boy, that was the best time of my life, too. I just loved being on the road like that.
Yeah, the years with Huff had to be interesting too. And Huff
Jesus. Well, and plus all the schemes, you know.
I heard once, maybe you can tell me or not, but you know that network pyramid kind of stuff that with the soap deal.
That actually Holiday Magic was the first one.
Was it?
And he didn't run Holiday Magic, but he learned from Holiday Magic, and then him and one of the principals from Holiday Magic started Best Line, which was the soap deal. So everybody in LA and in Northern California had a garage full of soap.
Well, you weren't selling soap as much; you were selling distributorship.
Yeah.
Somebody said you just finally had enough, so I can't do this.
Well, what happened was, I was successful because everybody knew me,
right?
But the people I brought in weren't doing as well,
right?
And I thought, God, I honestly believed Huff,
right?
Even though I knew him my whole life,
yeah.
I honestly believed that everybody could do this,
right?
And so I did it. And so when I found out that my people weren't doing well, I said, I can't bring nobody else in here, so I just flat quit.
Well, you know, those network deals, sooner or later, it's like a pyramid. It plays out, and next thing you know, you're...
Well, look at him and Williams. Traveled all over the country with them $5,000 pyramids.
Oh, the pyramid deal, if people...
Oh,
it was,
boy,
it
that's a
was
whole
the
other
late
hour.
70s, early 80s, I think, when the pyramid took over. I mean, it was nuts. People, and you knew it had to play out. I mean, you don't have to be a mathematician to figure out.
Well, they would rent warehouses.
Yeah.
There'd be hundreds of people. Couldn't wait to get that $3,500 out of their pocket.
Yeah.
Because he was like an evangelist or a preacher.
Oh, yeah.
He would get up there and, I mean, God, he was such a great speaker and motivator and whatever, and crook. He finally went to federal prison.
Well, you know, that stuff catches up to you later on.
Well,
you know?
he started an electric company, but he didn't have any electricity. So that finally did him in.
Well, but you know, I think of him and Rackman and those guys.
Oh,
they were lovable scoundrels.
Yes,
we had a list one time of lovable scoundrels. You know, the Rackety and Tharp and guys that you loved them to death.
The last one was with Rackman was the pill that you put in your gas tank. Every time you filled up, you put this.
A pill.
It was an aspirin. You put this. Actually, you put this aspirin in your gas tank. Oh, and you got 10 more miles on the gallon and 100 more horsepower.
I don't know. It's amazing, but it's been a pretty good life, Rich.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, God, my hat's off to you. We probably could carry on this, but we'll do it again.
Yeah, okay.
I was telling Cindy we need to go to Northern California and go around and make the rounds and come see you guys again and
the Hook Nose on tour.
Yeah, go on tour, go over and see Bradley and Bobby McClellan and that whole.
And we could talk about Tony some more too. You can't even imagine.
Tell us another Tony story. I mean, did he go with you when you were going with Beetle? Did he ever hang on to that whole deal?
Yeah, he would fly. He would locally, like L.A. and stuff like that. He would go to he would fly in, and Beetle really enjoyed him because he was such a character.
Right.
You know. One time he got mad at the Division 7 director and held him out of the tower. and everybody told Tony, don't mess with him. He used to be a boxer. Tony says, boxer or hell. So he went up there and he hung him out the window. So we...
Would that have been Bernie?
Bernie Parker.
Yeah. So then we went to... when I was working for Beetle, we was at the Winter National or one of them, I don't know. But Beetle left 2 tickets at the gate for Tony. So when Bernie's wife,
PJ.
Yeah, PJ. Somebody went to get the tickets. Tony sent a guy to get the tickets, and she told the guy, she says, I ain't giving these tickets to nobody but Tony. So anyway, he came and got the tickets, but that was part of the deal. And then the time Huff, his driver's license expired.
Right.
So he somehow got the date off of him, and redid the date. When he came in, PJ right away knew that he couldn't drive the car because his license was expired. So that was pretty interesting.
I think she tore his license up in front of him.
Yeah.
Pissed him off, and he wound up buying Orange County and changing it to an AHRA track.
That's right. He bought Orange County and changed it to AHRA over that driver and Fremont.
Yeah.
Oh, PJ was a piece of work too.
You didn't want to get on her bad side either. That's between PJ and Tony Del Rio and Huff and
oh my God.
Holy God, I don't know.
He got Fremont and Orange County and changed them to AHRA or IHRA. I don't remember.
Well, Cindy and I we've been in communication with him. He moved down and he had visions of this racetrack in Lake Havasu. And
he would have made if he wouldn't have passed away. There would be a drag strip there. Other guys took it one step further, but they just couldn't carry it through. But what happened? Somebody sent the mayor of Lake Havasu Larry's records, and when they saw that, they called Larry in and said, "We cannot no longer be partners."
Well, unfortunately, you take that baggage with you when it happens, you know. But
I mean, I'd made a few trips over there. They had pegged me as the manager of this new track. I brought my dad over there. It's too bad. I mean, we would have loved to seen that happen, but Larry could sell ice to an Eskimo, as you can see.
He was something, wasn't he?
He was, he was going to have a museum there. Well, he was going to have 2 museums.
He made millions and millions of dollars, and he never kept a penny. When he went to Australia, he donated something like $10 or $12 million to a church, and they kept 10% and gave him the money when he got back to the States, because Australia, wherever, they wouldn't let him take the money out of the country. So that much money. So he finally donated it to some church.
Did he?
And they gave him the money here and kept 10%.
Well, I mean, you never knew what kind of deals he had going, but he was a diehard racer too. I remember back in Irvindale days, him and Tommy Allen would come up there, and I think he was just a mechanic at that time. So he definitely reinvented himself, you know. But there's been some great characters come down the line.
He was a milkman for a while.
God, Rich, I don't know. Well, how are we doing? We're at Bakersfield here. What was the first year you came to Bakersfield?
59.
You were here at 59. Yep.
Had a sleeping bag. You slept outside the car. Guys were firing dragsters up all night. I mean, I don't know how old I was at 59, but 20 or 21. I mean, I just couldn't believe I was in this atmosphere, you know. I
was here. I was 18 years old. You know, I mean, me and my buddies, we had a room in town actually. You know, but
highfalutin, Poppy.
But the pits were on the other side in those days. That first year anyway, and. But you know, Garlitz was here the first time. It was a magical deal. I mean,
and then Cook and Bedwell.
Right.
And so when Cook and Bedwell came to Fremont, the following week or 2 weeks after, whenever the race was at, well, Bruce Slick's kind of sponsor, and so the car would be at their tire place. So I mean, I went through that car. You know, I mean, I could not believe I was that close to that dragster.
Right.
And nobody was there to tell me not to touch things. So that was really something. And then when they were at Kingdom, they changed brake fluids after every run. Really? And that was something I had never seen before either.
What was the concept behind that?
Evidently, they were because we didn't have parachutes.
Right.
So probably to get the car stopped, they were boiling the fluid.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So they changed it after every.
Well, they were way ahead of their time. Cook and Bedwell, you know, and they that car. Well, there's a replica of that car that was made, but that thing started out as a chassis research kind of a thing, and they modified it. And it's interesting that Nick Arias actually was one of the first owners of that that chassis, and it wound up Yakel. I mean, changed hands a few times before Cliff Bedwell and
Well,
Emery
you know,
Cook.
the first time we went to Long Beach, the first time we went to L.A., I had junkyard tires on my truck and trailer, so we had 5 blowouts before we got to L.A. So Fang, God, I can't think of his name. Anyway, he was driving for the Eagle car. So we went. He took us over to their new car place, and we took 5 spares off of underneath the pickups. So I could get home. And then
you took 5 spare tires off the pickup?
Yeah, and I should have brand new tires, you know. But when whatchamacallit found out about it, he was really upset.
Lou Baney probably, right?
Lou Baney. Lou Baney was really upset. What was, I can't think of the things. They just terrible.
Jim Ward. Ward.
Yeah, we used to stay at his house a lot.
Yeah, Fang, they called him.
Terrible. It's terrible to be this old. I can't remember anything.
Well, it's still in there. Well, it's all in there somewhere. But those were
We're
magical.
here to help each other out with that stuff. We kind of do.
Those were great times, and I was just a fan. I was just a kid. I didn't get really involved later on, where I was actually making a living at it. But man, I've been blessed to cross paths with guys like you, and in the friendships we made. It's just, you know, it goes beyond just. You know, it's about the people.
And I tell people that, you know, I have friends in New York.
Yeah.
I have, no matter where I go, I have friends.
Yeah. Well.
And it's all through traveling around drag racing, going to Texas with you, and
right, Corpus Christi. You, I don't know. Did you guys touch on Corpus Christi?
We talked a little bit about it, but that was an interesting thing there. You know, with that tower that the guy built, and I mean,
the tower had a D9 Cat diesel motor in it. After the race was over, he drove the tower away.
I wish that tower existed still.
Yeah,
we post that picture every now and then.
You were 7 years old at the time, I guess.
Not even quite. It was that summer of '69. I'll always remember
you know, we became better friends when you took over Fremont. You'd come over and we'd play cards.
Right.
And
I remember being at your house. I felt like I was amongst rock stars.
I don't know if I got to meet your dad or not.
No. He like I said, he operated that wrecking yard 7 days a week. So he never went on vacations, he never went anywhere. And finally they built a house in Tahoe, and he liked to gamble. So towards the end of his life, every weekend they would go to Tahoe, and I would run the yard while they were gone. So we could. And then when he passed away, when he was in the hospital, he told me where all this money was hid. And he would come back from Tahoe, and he would put the money in tube patch, them little round things.
Right.
And then he would put them in different rafters and stuff around the yard.
Wow.
So when we had no idea. So I don't know, we had $30,000 or $40,000 in cash from his gambling, and these tire patch things everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah. So, and one of his friends told me, he says, you know, your dad, because them Italians always buried their money. They didn't put the money in banks. He said, your dad has money hid everywhere around here. And he told me where all the money was. So I gave it to my mom, because it was her money.
Sure.
Really, it wasn't my money. And
fascinating.
Yeah. God. I remember when my grandfather died, they were in the basement because he had a wine cellar, because they made their own wine. All the relatives were in the cellar, digging up the cellar,
looking for the cash.
Trying to find the money.
Yeah, when my grandfather passed away.
So how long? Did you continue to find money now and then?
No. He told me where everything was.
Okay.
So, yeah.
No surprises.
Christ, he had money up tailpipes of the cars in the back.
Well, they lived through the Depression. I mean, were they from Italy?
Yes.
What year did they come over?
I think my mom was like maybe 10 or 12 or something, and my dad was about the same age, and they worked in a cannery in Oakland. And that's where they met at this cannery.
Oh, they met there. Okay.
Yeah, they both.
Did you speak Italian when you were growing up?
We couldn't speak it. We couldn't speak Italian. He said, "You're an American. You speak American.
Well, I agree with that too.
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah, so we didn't even speak Italian in the house amongst us. The only time I spoke Italian was when I would stay with my grandparents, because they could hardly speak English.
You could understand it enough to get by.
I still can't. I can't say 10 words, but I can understand some of it.
Oh, that's
Very
cool.
cool.
So
You had quite a life, Guasco.
yeah.
Roy Beebe just commented that he was here in '59 with my brothers Dave, Tim, and my dad.
Yeah.
So Roy Beebe's watching. Karen Minnick is watching. Cindy Fitzgerald, Leon's daughter, is watching.
Yeah.
She's saying hi to you. It's been fun to watch all the comments here.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, I hate this age just because of my friends are going.
I know, it's a sad time right now.
I mean, Jesus, when they told me when Dave Beebe passed away, and now Tim is in hospice. Jesus.
I know.
Hard
I saw Karen. Karen's here this weekend, and
they came.
You know, we all feel a kinship with each other.
Yeah.
And, you know, I love Jill so much. I don't know Gina that well, but Jill and I have a really special bond.
Yep.
And that's all due to you and your and Dodie. We can't say enough good things about you guys.
And another thing about racers is they're real, to the most part.
I think so.
I mean, there's a lot of bullshitters around, but most of them are real people that work. People have no idea how hard this is.
Yeah. Well, we talk about it all the time. All us guys. I'll be 82 on my next birthday.
Yeah.
I know you're up in that neighborhood, 85. And it's getting towards the end of this whole deal.
Yeah.
But to the man, everybody's saying, "God damn, I'm glad I grew up and lived when I did."
I just couldn't quit. That was my problem.
Well, I
can't believe I'm still doing it, to tell you the truth. But
no, but it's probably keeping you going.
Yeah, well, and I don't hardly do anything to the car. I just tune it.
Yeah.
And I have a crew chief, and he makes sure everything gets done right. And I have a couple of guys. Scotty from L.A. comes down, and Ron Rogers is a retired highway patrolman, and Scotty's a retired sheriff. So no matter where we go, we're well protected because they carry guns with them all the time. So
good to know.
That's good. But you're still in Pleasanton. You're right there.
Same house that you guys came to when you were in Fremont.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll be damned. That's well.
Oh no, I'm sorry. We moved.
But the Fremont, it didn't last long. I was only there a short time, but I'm glad I did it. I got to know that. You just think of the guys that were up there, the Galley brothers, and I can go on all day long with names. But Denny Forsberg's still around, and we communicate with him once in a while on the internet. But those were fun days. Well,
actually, Denny was a professional stick welder.
Was that right?
So I would make parts for my car and tack them on, and then on Saturday he would come over to my house and do the real welding.
Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's how I actually built that car, was with his help.
Huh. Did you ever deal with Palomides at all?
Yeah.
Yeah? Good or bad?
Bad.
Bad? So
I went to Palomides to have a hood made for I went to Hageman. Hageman wanted $125 to make a hood for my roadster, street roadster. So then I went to Palomides, and he wanted $75 because they both did aluminum work. So of course I went to Palomides, picked up the car, drove it to Hageman's, told him to take the hood off and throw it away.
Throw it away?
It was oh God, it was terrible. So and then of course with Pete building a car, and he worked for Palomides for years and drove Palomides as dragster. So that's how my association with Palomides.
Yeah, interesting character. I mean, he the whole jet car thing with Bob Smith and that deal there. But he built that first track dryer that we had within HRA. He got into the jet thing, which is
and he sold them to like the city of Chicago. Bought them jet dryers. Dry their streets.
Wound up moving back there. Interesting characters, but well, I think we're probably, how long we've been on, Zinder?
We are at the 58.5-minute mark. So Rich, are you going to come back to Revival in November?
Well, of course.
Yes.
Right. Every one of them.
I'm just making sure.
I mean, Rich has been I mean, it's a friendship deal. I think it's just mutual respect. But I mean, this is one of the best human beings that ever graced this planet. And
Where is the revival? I mean, my picture's on your poster on there. I have to be there.
Yeah, I guess I'll have my grandson bring out the 50 Ford, so I guess we'll
Okay.
have to have at it.
Yeah, okay, well then I'll drive my 51 down.
Okay.
Yeah, we're back at Irwindale this year.
Well, we're looking forward to it. We got to do some more of these things. We got to get the
Yeah.
ball rolling again. But Richard,
needed a little bit of a break.
I can't thank you
Okay.
enough. This is
Oh, thank you.
this is
What an honor.
Well,
to
I don't know.
have
I
you.
don't know if you know what happened yesterday. So I had a gentleman stick his nose in the tent yesterday, and he says, "You need to do a Rich Guasco hook nose." And I said, "You know what? I loaded up my tripod and my microphones when
Yeah.
I came, and I go, I think we can do this." So I told him, like, "Poppy, go talk to Rich. Let's do it."
This morning when we got here, we were number 3 for top fuel with our.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Well, pure hell's out there. Brian's doing a good job.
Yeah.
It's a fun category. It's good to see Johnny West and those
Yeah.
guys out there. I mean, the fuel altereds, they still got that magic to them,
Yeah.
even. But back when they were all about 90
Yeah.
inches long, that was a.
This new fuel alter deal is ruining it for us because we can't compete
Well,
against them,
yeah, that's-
except for that 6.0 deal, you know.
Yeah, it's a give and take thing, but
Yeah.
we're still out here. It's just this Bakersfield thing is kind of a freak. It's still, you got a place where you can go and see the old guys and the
Yeah,
old cars,
yeah.
and kind of it's a social event too, you know, and that's what we're about. It's a social
I
event.
hate to see Johnny West come into this deal.
Well,
He's too smart.
well, you know, he's Johnny's done a lot, and he's over there. I guess he's helping some guys on the big show too. You know, I don't know. We talk about it. We get involved in the drag racing politics, but it's so goddamn expensive now to race. I don't know how. I'm not sure how it can sustain itself.
Well, being single, it takes every penny that I have coming in to run the car, of course.
Right.
And luckily, I get paid once in a while. Without that, and without like Redline Oil.
We just made a deal with Redline. They're going to help us out at our Nitro
are they?
Revival. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's Mark Beatty has gone to work for them and
yeah.
moved to Houston, but Redline's going to give us a
Yeah.
hand and with product, no
Yeah.
money, but it's going to be a nice where I can go to the
Yeah.
guys that run and give them some Redline oil, which is the best oil I think there is.
Yeah, well, we ran Torco for years before we went to Redline, and Jack Williams is the one who got us the Redline deal.
Yeah, it's a top quality product,
Yeah,
and we appreciate we've gotten some really nice support for our Nitro Revival thing. It's a small deal compared to everything else, but we got our place.
Yeah.
And
But without Redline, we wouldn't be here either.
No.
Even though the car almost pays for itself, but you have to have these companies.
can you imagine trying to run a big show car right now and go out and have to race against Force?
How about Salinas, Mike Salinas?
Right.
A top fuel car, a pro mod car, injected nitro dragster,
Pro stock bike,
and a motorcycle team.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Salinas is a great guy, and he's dedicated, but just the sheer money to do that. I mean, how many people are in that category?
Right. It takes approximately $3 million to run a car after you have everything.
Yeah.
At least that's what they tell me.
Well, I wouldn't disagree with that from what I know.
Well, you got 7 or 8 guys that you're buying motels for all the time, and
just the travel expenses and
then he bought everybody on the team brand new Harley Davidsons. Well, he took them down to Harley Davidson place and said, pick one out.
Yep.
I mean, how do you...
Plus his energy, the energy level to pull it all out was impressive.
My godson just ran a big show top fuel car all by himself, him and his dad, but they're gonna run this type of meet, or maybe they're only planning on running it 2 or 3 times a year.
Who is that?
Ronnie August Jr.
Oh, Ron August. Okay, yeah.
Ron August.
Okay.
So he ran a 391 at the Winter Nationals, I guess, the first full pass on the car.
Well, It's a challenge, and I
Yeah.
respect the guys like Jason Rupert and Jeff
Yeah.
Deal and guys that are out there doing what they can.
Yeah.
But boy, to run for the championship, to race to win, I mean, it's just a
Yeah, you
tough.
can't, yeah. There's
It's
only-
a tough deal.
yeah.
And they talk about
As-
cutting one mag or this or
Yeah.
that. That might help a little bit, but when you got a 23 race series and
Yeah.
you got I mean, that's where the real expense is.
Well, it's just like when they cut it off at 1,000 feet.
Yeah.
Hell, a year later, everybody adjusts and it's going just 230 again. You know,
shorten the
or
fuse.
330.
Yeah. Well, it's got some problems. I'm not sure what the whole future is, but we live through the best of it,
Yeah.
though.
Well, the money deal is because we're not on TV like the NASCAR people are.
Right. Yeah. It's
For 3 or 4 hours every single race, and that's where without that TV, guys like us don't get the sponsorship.
it's
just the top
sure.
people.
It's a tough game, but
Yeah.
I love the sport. We're still
Yeah.
involved in it, whatever level it is.
Yeah.
You with the cars and us keeping our little deal going. But
Yeah.
we did okay, Rich.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, we run that car like you would run a top fuel car.
Right. Yeah.
No different.
No.
Love it.
I guess we're out of here. We're going to go out and see what's happening at the March
Jill's
meet.
probably wondering what the hell's going on in there. But another shout out to Ray Shields. He's the guy that suggested we do this today.
Well,
I'm
he
glad
said
we
that
were
over
able
the
to.
time. All our deal, we've had people come to our place in Huntington Beach,
Right.
and we haven't really gone out. We need to figure out a way to do some more interviews remote and everything. But just sitting here, if you guys weren't even included, just sitting here talking to Rich would be worth it, because
I love it. I love it.
It's a long time friendship that it's a for real deal. So
Mutual admiration going on here. I know that.
one of the best guys ever born, right there.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
okay.
Thank you, Rich. Love you.
Thank you,
love
guys.
you. Love you.
I feel so honored just to be included
Well.
in a deal like this.
Well, it's just a couple old guys sitting
Yeah.
here having a good time. We'll
All
see you
right,
later.
everyone.
All
You
right.
never know who we're going to pop in with later. Thanks again, Rich.
Well, thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.
Thank you.